have water. What else does this plant need to grow? Catalina.
Rainbow.
Okay. Theo.
Soil.
Soil.
Sun. She meant to say sun. No. You meant to say soil.
Soil.
Teacher.
So the plant needs soil to
Catalina
survive.
meant to say sun.
Okay. You meant to say
Max.
sun? The sun? Yes. Good.
Sun.
The sun.
Aw, didn't say that.
So we have yellow marker. The sun.
Then my brother.
So a plant needs water, the sunlight, and soil to survive. So we're going to read a story called
Wait, Dan. We already did that.
The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle.
By Eric. You
Okay.
meant to say Eric.
It is autumn. Raise your hand if you know what autumn is. Yes, you can. But it's autumn. Yes, where the leaves fall down. What does the outside feel like when it's autumn?
Windy.
Like windy and
Cold.
it starts to get cold. Good job. So a strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the other seeds. Will it be able to keep with the other seeds, Anthony? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. Raise your hand if you know why the seed couldn't survive in the hot.
Because it was too burning.
Layla.
Because it's too hot.
It's too hot.
And burning. And too burning.
And it burns, and if it's too hot and it doesn't get water, what happens?
It burns.
It burns and it dies. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. So why can't the seed grow, Everett?
It's too cold.
It's too cold
And it's no water. And it won't melt.
and it won't melt. So it doesn't get any
Water.
It doesn't get any sunlight.
And need the sunlight to grow. And water. But the sun is back there.
The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others.
That is like a tree.
Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and
It drowns.
drowns. The other seed sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. Why did the seed drown in the ocean?
Because it doesn't have any sunlight.
Because it doesn't have any sunlight, but also what happens when it gets too much water?
It dies.
It drowns, it dies.
And it also doesn't have any soil.
It doesn't have any soil.
And then, when you cut it,
One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Why can't the seed survive in the hot and the dry?
The Texas is grown around water because
Does
it's hot.
anybody else know?
Because it's too hot.
Max?
No water.
There's no water.
And the
It
cactuses-
needs water to survive.
And cactuses don't grow as well because they really have water and spiky.
Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Ooh. Now it is winter. So what happens in the winter?
It's cold.
It's cold. And Ika, what happens?
And winter. Teacher, when it comes back on Friday, can you find the Lego for us? Yeah. Because it's going to be back.
But in the winter time, does it snow?
Yes!
Yes, it snows. And the plants,
Oh, gosh.
hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it at all. Now it is spring. So what happens in the spring?
Water.
Oh, I need some other people to answer because the same ones are answering over and over.
Water. I never answer. Water.
Annalie, what happens in the springtime? Can you put that back? Thank you. Thea, what happens in the springtime? Flowers grow and it rains, and what else happens again? It grows. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls, the seeds grow, so round and they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. Yes, they're plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air.
the birds come in the air.
There's another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big, fat weed.
What?
And it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants. And that plant dies. So why does that plant die? Because this big plant is covering it. Why does it die?
It doesn't get sun.
Because it's blocking it from getting sunlight. And what's this?
Rain.
Rain.
But the thing makes
Effort, Theo. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore.
You are terrible. You are
The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing very fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud. And now it's
Somebody
a...
grabs it.
What is it?
Flower.
A flower. But what happens?
Somebody grabs it.
First there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over them.
And somebody
And then a hand reaches.
And it dies. Nothing.
And a boy has picked the flower to give to a friend.
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
That's a girlfriend.
Now it is summer. What happens in the summertime?
Flowers grow. It's
The
hot.
flowers grow. It's hot outside.
What happened to and then we're really giant.
The trees go down. The
Teacher. Teacher.
Oh my goodness.
Teacher. That doesn't exist.
Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on, and it doesn't stop. The sun shines on it, and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now
It's
a
taller than
flower
the moon.
grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big, beautiful flower.
It's a nice, ugly flower.
Now it is autumn.
Why do you
again.
say nice, ugly flower?
The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower.
Hey guys.
Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down on the ground. The wind blows harder and harder. The flower has lost almost all its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and stronger and shakes the flower. Once more the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower seed pods open. Out comes many tiny seeds that quickly sail far out on the wind. So even though the flower died, what's going to happen to the seeds?
They're gonna
They're going to grow new flowers. They're going to spread across the land, and they're going to grow new flowers.
big flowers.
The end.
Big.
So, my questions for you is, what happens when the weather is too hot? Raise your hand. Ever, what happens when it's too hot?
Flowers cannot grow.
They cannot grow, but why can't they grow?
Because it's too hot.
Because it's too hot and they don't get
Hey,
water.
water and
Layland.
they don't get no water.
They don't get no water. Okay, and what happens when it's too cold?
And you can.
It's
It's kind of how it gets the snow. It's cold. Get the
Yeah. When it gets too cold, it doesn't have enough sunlight and they start to.
Why can you not hear a pterodactyl water or less snow?
And what happens when it's too dry?
Teacher,
When it's too dry? When it's too dry, they don't get water, so they don't grow.
so they die. And then there's this thing. You must
Okay.
I cannot hear a pterodactyl water or less snow. That is pure silence.
Okay, so now you're gonna get in groups. We have or tornado, flood, a drought, hurricane, and blizzard. So you four are gonna be a group. You four are gonna be a group. You four are gonna be a group, and Max, you're gonna join in with this group. So you guys are gonna be talking about a hurricane. You guys are gonna be talking about a tornado. And you guys are going to be talking about a blizzard. So, why can't the seed not grow in that environment? Talk to Okay, but talk to your peer. Why can't the hurricane survive? Why can't the seed survive? Can I join this group? Okay. Now, wait. Okay. I need your card back. Let me see your card. Okay. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. This group. Tell me why a tornado the seed can't grow in this weather. It's too windy. What happens when it's too windy? It can take all the seeds, the plants, it can yank them out of the ground. Okay, this group, tell me why a hurricane, why can't the seed survive in a hurricane? It'll sink, and this is all water, so what will happen to the seed?
You mean the blizzard? He did that one.
Anthony, he's trying to talk.
The blizzard? Yes. I have some blizzard. Me too, I have some.
It starts drowning.
Because the flowers can freeze.
And lastly, this group, why can't the blizzard?
They can't breathe in the cold. Maybe because they'll freeze in the cold.
They'll freeze, and is there any sun in this? So what happens without sun?
They die.
They don't grow. Okay, I need everyone to look up here. Sometimes, I need everyone to look up here. 7A. Sometimes farmers who grow plants need protection for their plants because of the environments that they live in. So we live in where do we live?
Desert.
A desert. And what has the extreme weather been?
Dust storms.
Dust storms. Very bad dust storms.
We do not live in the desert.
We do live in the desert. greenhouses. Have anybody heard of greenhouses? So I have two.
So much to think about, it'll make me want to shout.
Hello, it's me, Flippy. Today, we're in Tenino, Washington, in front of a greenhouse. Whoa! Do you know what a greenhouse is? Yeah, a greenhouse is a house that houses plants. Yeah, it controls the environment, so then you can make sure that the temperature is just right for the plants to grow really big. Let's go inside and check it out. Come on. Whoa! This place is awesome! There's so many plants here. Wow! Hey, look at this one! Yeah! It's a flower! Oh!
Why do we not just watch it?
Because it's a whole video and I have to show you guys. So we're going to make our own shelter. Crystal is sitting there with her crisscross applesauce and she's ready. I'm going to show you how I want to build my shelter. So I'm going to use plastic wrap to cover.
So we can't do it again.
What's our other plan?
So I'm going to put plastic wrap on it. But what happens if I put plastic wrap on it? Can it breathe?
No.
No.
So you need to put a
So
hole.
I got to put some holes in it so it can breathe. But this way, if it's dusty outside, my soil's not going to come out
And
because
it's gonna be dusty.
the plastic wrap's on it. So it's still going to have the soil to survive. What about with my cotton balls?
Yes.
With cotton balls, I can put some cotton balls in there. And if I water it, it's going to absorb the moisture so it's not going to be so dry. Okay, you can go do it after this, okay? And then with the plastic wrap, I need the foil. I'm going to get some foil and I'm going to put it around it. Can you put the cotton balls back? And then this is my protection that I built. So you guys are going to go make your own protections. So you guys made your shelters, and this is you're gonna observe what your plant looks like every single day. So this is day one with your shelter. So you're gonna draw. This is what my plant looks like, and you're gonna describe what you use to protect your plant from extreme weather. So you're gonna draw what you use for your plant and just put what you use. Okay, so go sit down. Yes, go sit down.
Make sure you have your pencil.
Yes, make sure you have a pencil. Since you already built your shelter, you're going to draw what your shelter looks like. Go draw your plant.
What do you do to make your place? I know how to make up everything.
I'll give you a second. Raise your hand. What did you use?
We're going home. Teacher, we're going home.
Your space.
We're not doing fun fact.
Going over it.